What is up, fanatics? Welcome to another summer series installment of our preview for the 2024 Iowa State football season. It's just around the corner. Next week, I will be on a plane going to Las Vegas. Believe it or not, that's where Big 12 Media Days are. Las Vegas for Iowa State's Big 12 Media Days. Will be an interesting one this year with all the new Pac-12 schools and all that. We got a lot of time next week to talk about that, but this week, we are going to talk today with Jake Waters. He is the quarterbacks coach at Iowa State, and Jake and I go way back. We'll tell you about it in the podcast. Fun story. This is a guy who, the more I get to know him, it's like, oh, yeah, that's a Matt Campbell guy. Like, he feels like he just fits perfectly with what Campbell is trying to build and do there at Iowa State. And we'll get his opinions on the quarterback's room coming up and how he's dealing with it. There's so much talent in that quarterback room, and I'm curious about how do you deal with it all in this transfer portal era and all that. Jake's going to talk about that. Just a phenomenal guy, really, really bright dude, and we appreciate his time coming on today's podcast. I want to thank our sponsors of the summer series as we continue to preview the 2024 Iowa State football season here on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network. And I want to give a shout out to my friends Clay and Chase Natuzel. They are Raymond James financial advisors, and these are clone to the bone. These guys are nuts about the clone. They are phenomenal guys, and they want to help you plan your financial future. What does that mean? That can be everything from taking control of your portfolio and watching it grow. That can be helping you with taxes. That can be all kinds of things. They are Raymond James financial advisors, and we really appreciate their support. They have offices in Ankeny and Carroll. You can meet with them by appointment in Ames. You can go to raymondjames.com/Natuzil. That is spelled Netusil. Again, raymondjames.com/Natuzil. The easiest way is just go to Google and type in Raymond James, Clay, or Chase Natuzil. It'll pop right up for you, and you can go and check out their great services. We are also presented by our friends at the Fairway Meat Market. I want to push you guys to this beautiful, beautiful, new-ish meat market that is where the old Wallabies is. If you're an old school clone like me, it's where the old Wallabies used to be. And they really, the thing I like about it too, it's not just meat. It's kind of your one-stop shop for all things barbecue, tailgating. They got beer, they got liquor, they've got, yeah, okay, we're going to get some burgers. There's buns. There's condiments. It's like a little mini Fairway that is on like meat steroids. It's perfect. It's my favorite place in the world. Maybe not my favorite, but it's damn close. The Fairway Meat Market in Ames. It's my first stop every Friday when I get to Ames. I park the RV, and then I go straight to the Fairway Meat Market. You should too. Jake Waters coming up right now. This is a bright guy, a very bright young coach. This guy's got future head coach, future coordinator written all over him. I'm telling you right now. And I really enjoyed this interview. Going back with an old buddy. Like, it's me and him have a long history together. We'll talk about it right now here on the Cyclone Fanatic Podcast Network. All right, so we got Iowa State quarterbacks coach Jake Waters with us today. This is one that I've been looking forward to for a while because you're one of the few guys. You make me feel really old, Jake. You probably don't remember me. I interviewed you when you were a high school kid, probably, I don't know, a dozen times, calling your games, KMA radio. Yeah, I called you championship. I called some basketball. You and your brother Matt. Like I did. Like it, and I rooted for you when you played at Kansas State too, because I was like, oh, that's cool. I've seen that guy when he was like a sophomore. But yeah, you make me feel old.
Well, that means a lot. That just means I'm getting old too.
Yeah, you had a hell of a prep career leading up to that, though. It was those St. Albert teams were always a blast. I always enjoyed calling your games.
Yeah, we had a lot of talent for a little 1A private school in Iowa. That's for sure. We had 4 or 5 guys go Division I in some sport from that. So, yeah, we had a lot of success, a lot of wins. We're pretty fortunate there.
Did you was it always locked in that you would go and play football? Because you and your brother were pretty good basketball players too.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. So I was growing up, played basketball, football, baseball, kind of played soccer a little bit, but throughout junior high and almost through my whole high school, I thought I was going to play baseball in college.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
I did the whole, traveling baseball in Omaha, the whole summer you're playing 50 games or something as a fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth grader. I thought that was going to be it until about junior, senior year. And I was like, man, I really like this football thing. And then, yeah, kind of went from there, but I thought it was baseball. I loved basketball growing up. Basketball was my favorite sport. And then I noticed I, kind of tapped out around 6 foot, 6'1". So
Hmm.
that playing at the highest level of basketball probably wasn't the direction for me. So I thought football, give that a try.
Well, I'm wanting to give Iowa State fans an opportunity to get to know you a little bit better, and of course, I'll ask about the quarterbacks and stuff. But then so your background's interesting. You went to IWCC, right?
Yep. Right out of
You
high
played
school.
in Strohmeyer. So Scott Strohmeyer was building that program at the time into now is one of the best JUCO programs in the country, if not the best, right? Like so, but
Yeah.
you were kind of there at the ground stages of that. Is that correct?
Yep. So I graduated high school in 2010. That was right the year before in '09 is when they started the program.
Okay.
So, and it was 3 minutes from my house. So it was right there. My older brother went there for the first year ever. So I kind of saw it from the ground up. But yeah, they started in 2009. I was there after 2010 when I graduated high school. So I was there for the second year. But yeah, went to Iowa Western, and I didn't have any other options coming out of high school. It was man, a walk on here or there to Northwest Missouri State, and I think Wayne State or something like that. And I was like, well, I think I can play some football, and I just gotta get a shot and see what I can do. But so Iowa Western second year, and then it's what they've done and what Coach Stormer has done has been holy crap, absolutely.
Right. Like I always thought that would be a guy who, but he's just really good at what he did.
Yeah,
There, right?
yeah.
But like
I was surprised. I know, especially after the first few years and how he started the program and kind of got it to where it was. He did get some bites and some interest here and there, and for him, just the lifestyle and being able to kind of do his thing at Iowa Western, I think was something that he really valued, and they did a good job taking care of him too and his family and everything there to make it really hard to leave. And but he thought about it for a little bit, but now it's kind of he's Iowa Western. He is
it's his
he
thing.
is IWCC.
It's his baby.
Yeah,
it's like
no
the
doubt.
Woodleys in Grandview is kind of what it reminds me of. It's like
yeah. It's when you think of Iowa Western football, you think of Scott Strohmeyer. So I know he had a little interest. So man, I want to go and see what I can do, but got to a point that he just loves that place so much, and obviously what they have now is incredible too.
So you end up at Kansas State and you become a really good Big 12 quarterback. Iowa State fans, I'm guessing that's how most of them knew you when you joined Matt Campbell's staff, was for playing at Kansas State. Where did your connection with Matt Campbell and Iowa State kind of take us back to the infancy of that relationship and how you ended up here in Ames?
Yeah, it was honestly crazy story. So I got a little shot, I would say like half a cup of coffee in the NFL, just a little week or two here or there. And then I played in Canada for 1 year. So that season they're getting done kind of in the middle of our season because they start a little bit earlier. And I was just didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I was kind of done playing football. So I went to Iowa Western to just kind of help coach for the rest of the season, a few games. And Alex Golish was the junior college recruiter for Iowa State at the time, had a great relationship with Coach Strohmeyer, and just kind of happened that they needed a offensive graduate assistant kind of right when I got to Iowa Western. I was like, man, I'm going to try this coaching thing out. And I fell in love with it. And that, from them being there and then me just being from the state of Iowa, playing in the Big 12 and playing at Iowa Western. And it was kind of a, super fortunate, lucky thing. But I didn't know Coach Campbell at all. He came on a recruiting visit. I met him kind of for the first time. And, Tom Manning and everyone. But, with Coach Golish being in there a lot and having a good relationship, that's how it all started and how I got here.
I love picking apart these coaching trees and like how the relationships, because it's such a small world.
like how all this stuff works. And I would never guess that Strohmeyer and Golish, and somehow you end up at. But you had to be patient though. It's one of the things I like about your story. You get on there, and then I mean you've been grinding for a couple years before you get this big shot. How big of a deal was that to you to get this opportunity going into this?
It means everything. Obviously, Coach Campbell was the one that gave me an opportunity to even be at this level as a graduate assistant, and for him to take a chance on me then, and then just my path, having to what I had to do, and I been to after one season here, I got the tight end job at UTEP, Texas El Paso, for my old offensive coordinator at K-State. And so I coached tight ends for 3 years there. Felt like it was the right time to kind of come back in a great situation back at Iowa State after 3 seasons there with Coach Campbell, Coach Manning, and then kind of was in an analyst role. And I always knew Coach Campbell, if you just do a great job, work your tail off and care about the kids and develop them and get them better, that he has a track record of taking care of the guys that he trusts and really values. And it just happened. It was crazy because I thought there was chances. I thought it may happen, and it didn't. And I just love this place so much that I didn't really want to jump and go take the next thing just because I was thought I should be somewhere. And I took it as I'm obviously not where I need to be yet. So what do I have to do to get better? And having conversations with him and all the other coaches, man, what do I got to do to make sure that I'm putting myself in the spot to be there if the time does come, or do I have areas that I have to get better at? And I just love the people here. I love the place here. I'm 2 hours from home. I already been in El Paso, Texas, away from home, and I thought we could do some really special things here, so I didn't want to go anywhere. And then obviously with everything that had happened since last season, it's been a dream for me. Coaching quarterbacks at a place that I care a lot about. I obviously went to Kansas State and played, but being from the state of Iowa, my dad went here. One of my most memorable games in college is here.
I remember that game.
Yeah, I'm still sore from that game. But it's truly a dream to be able to coach the quarterbacks here for Coach Campbell with these people. It's I still have to pinch myself every day when I walk in.
Yeah, and the one thing I don't know if we do a good enough job in the media talking about it, but this is it's a very cutthroat industry. There's not a lot of loyalty anywhere. People just move around. It's a lot like media, to be honest. But what does it mean, like even like a guy like Mauser, right, who's paid his dues, and like Shieldhouse gets this great opportunity in the pros, and it's in some cases I'm sure tempting with this offense coming back. Matt probably could have gone out and gotten a pretty big name play caller. Mm-hmm. But he promotes from within. He promotes you like that. To me, what does that do for? We hear a lot about like program culture and stuff with players, but what about like in the group of coaches when that if you deserve it, you're going to get that opportunity? He's not just headhunting out there, on like a job board, I guess.
Yeah, no, that means the world, and that's why I never wanted to look somewhere else, or if you felt like you were supposed to be in a different position at the time, that Coach Campbell has a plan for everyone. And if you control what you can control and do a great job, love the players, get relationships with the players and get them better, that he will take care of you, and he will obviously, to do what's right with the program. You have to earn it. But that helps everyone in the building too, just to know that, if Coach Campbell's taking a chance on you, because for sure he could have went out and, obviously we got Rocco back, a bunch of skill back on the outside, offensive line back, running back room. This offense is very talented. He could have went and got, whoever. But for him to stick with the people that he truly trusts and knows that, this place, he wants people here, that this place means a ton to them. Yeah. Same thing with recruits. And we want the guys here that they're going to die for Iowa State, and they're going to, do anything for this program and for coach. And that's how I feel he feels comfortable with guys like, Coach Mauser, who had been recruiting intern stuff in envelopes to doing every job in the program to now, leading the offense, that Coach Mauser would literally die for Iowa State. And
I feel like that's just a great deal in life, though, isn't it, Coach? Like when you've been the person who, like I use my wife as an example. She's a veterinarian, but she's been the one who has scooped the crap out of the kennels before. She started off, and then you work your way up to there. Like, I don't know, like that just seems like an awesome philosophy in anything that we do.
For sure. And you give people ownership, you give them more responsibility, and then and you trust them. And in this world, obviously, it's college football's been as crazy as it's ever been, and our profession and guys are jumping around trying to find the next opportunity or kind of do this or that to get where they want to go. And you find guys that don't care about, there's no ego on our offensive staff or staff in general, defensive side either, that we just want to win football games. And that's what Coach Campbell wants our team to be like. So if we're not like that as coaches, then how does our team do it? So for him, it's top down from him, how he hires his staff, the type of people that are coaching our players just bleeds down. And then we have incredible players, obviously, but for sure it helps. For sure it helps kind of seeing, Coach Campbell's not just saying things about loyalty and the value of hard work, but he's actually living it.
So let's talk about the quarterback's room. And I had Rocco on one of these a couple weeks ago, and I probably shouldn't have been surprised, but you never know with players on these sit downs because it's just they don't know me that well. But he was awesome. Like I could have done a 3-hour podcast with Rocco. Like I wasn't surprised because everybody told me how great he was and everything. But he is one of the more personable student athletes that I've met in 20 years of doing this. Do you see that?
For sure. He's incredible. For him still being a young player and person, the way he acts, how mature he is well beyond his years. And he's a guy that can go and talk to someone he's never met, you, or if it's a coach or a player from Kansas. He's from Florida, so a player from Kansas or North Dakota, California, Texas. He can connect with everyone. And he's got, obviously a great upbringing for, the foundation for who he is as a person. But yeah, he's incredible, just the type of person he is and the type of leader and, the things he's doing now. Obviously it's kind of news for what all he's doing with NIL and things like that. But that doesn't surprise me at all because Rocco met my wife for the first time and they hit it. It was a 15-20 minute conversation and he was just incredible to her. And, all the family has kids around too all the time, that he's just incredible dealing with everything like that. And then obviously fans and, we just had little kids camp the past, week, and then the high school camp, and just incredible with, kind of every situation, every person that he comes along.
So he has one of the best freshman years in Iowa State history, one of the best quarterback years statistically, I think, in the history of the program, definitely top 5. You get this job, but obviously you're familiar with him. You've been around him. When you find out you get the job, season's over, where are you at with, okay, I can't wait to dig in with Rocco? What's the number one thing like in January that you're wanting to get moving on?
Just continue to build the relationship with me and him. I was in a different role last year with him, where with Coach Shieldhouse being that quarterback coach, offensive coordinator, I was the one kind of being in there when coach was, scripting for practice or getting certain things ready for the game plan. I was kind of doing everything else and trying to, make sure, man, how's he feeling, things like that. But now building it to now it's I'm the coach, but it's not really going to change too much. But just getting on even deeper relationship level on, hey man, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get you to be the best player, the best leader, the best teammate that you can be. And you have to let me know, man, if you need something or how you're feeling. Our communication between me and him we have to have great line of communication there. and we've hit big on the leadership part too. That for me, I thought I was never the most talented guy, but no one was going to outwork me, and I thought I was a leader for the offense and team. And towards the end of the later part of the year, he kind of even stepped it up even more, because he hadn't played. Like, people I don't know if people forget it, but he hadn't played really at all before last year, and he kind of got thrown into it with the situation that happened last summer. And he's sitting there as a quarterback. You have to be the leader whether you like it or not. And he was in a situation where he's never played, and we're needing him to be the leader. And it takes everyone a little bit. He did a great job, but towards the end of the year, he was incredible. And then now, how can we grow on that? How can we grow with now the expectations for you that, things don't go well? How do we handle that? Things, man, do go well. There's going to be a lot of noise. There's going to be a lot of people trying to talk to you and do things and kind of, keep grabbing at you. Like, how do we handle all of that stuff? And then the football side is, man, just spending a ton of time with him. Our offense, how much better can we learn it? Can we learn, man, all the protections? So, no matter what protection we call, where we're safe in this protection. I know who's being blocked. So if they do bring any sort of pressure, I know I'm good. Now I know I have time, or I know when I'm hot and I got to get this ball out, and things like that. So just kind of taking the knowledge to the next level with everything, though. But I couldn't wait to kind of get with him, and we spent a lot of time together here in the off season.
All right. That is Jake Waters. We'll get back to him here in just a couple of minutes. Want to wish everybody a happy Independence Day. Be safe out there. Don't go. Listen, I like blowing stuff up too, but you don't need to be don't shooting off fireworks off of your roof. None of that crap. Don't be an idiot, because we need to get you all to Jack Trice Stadium coming up in September. And that's what we're doing here as we continue to preview the 2024 Iowa State football season. Jake Waters has been phenomenal. I want to thank our friends at Central States Roofing, family owned and operated since 1968. This is a company that does commercial roofing with 100% local employees. They don't subcontract anything. I love that about what Central States Roofing does. Lifelong Cyclone fans. These guys are diehard Iowa State supporters, and they are also, listen, it's been a brutal weather, spring and summer, in the state of Iowa. If you're in the market for a new roof, I'd love it if you'd support great supporters of ours. They perform work in Ames, Des Moines, Fort Dodge, and then a 75-mile radius outside of that. Central States Roofing. Shout out to them for sponsoring what we are doing here with our summer series. Also, Robinson Implement, for all of you farmers out there, they have locations in Irwin, Pocahontas, and Corning, so they're well spread out here. And I want you to check them out for all of your farm equipment needs. They're a family business that spans 4 generations, and they put their customers first. Robinson Implement, again, 3 convenient locations in Irwin, Pocahontas, and Corning. Let's get back to it. Jake Waters, Iowa State's quarterback coach. Here's the second part of my conversation with him on our summer series to preview the 2024 Iowa State football season.
You also have a challenge, and this isn't any different, but it is now, because I love the other 2 quarterbacks in your room too. Everybody does. They're local guys. We all. Yep. I mean, I've watched Cole and Moberly play as much football as just because I can watch these games on like YouTube now, right? Like you can.
Yeah.
It used to be like you're just scouring like Huddle to get highlights of guys, and like as fans, we kind of fall in love with them before they're even there. Like, so. I want to talk about them, but like it is just this, you're loaded there, and you got another guy coming in who's out at a camp right now kicking everybody's butt, which is great. What's the process like to keep everybody happy, to keep everybody on the same page? Because I would imagine too, that's a good thing when Rocco's not a jerk, right? If Rocco's a jerk, probably makes your job more difficult. But how do you approach all that?
Yeah, it's a great problem, I guess you'd say, to have, where you do have a lot of talented guys in there in the room. Obviously Rocco being one of them, but JJ, the growth he's made from coming in as a freshman to now is night and day. He's gotten so much better, knowledge of the game, works his tail off, is constantly in this facility, watching film or in with me, trying to soak up every ounce of knowledge that he possibly can. And then at the same time, he loves Iowa State, and he loves when we do well as a team. And him and Rocco have a great relationship, so that helps. And then Connor, same thing, came in from a great high school program, won a lot of games, really, really good player, and has just worked his tail off. I think he's gained, over 15 to almost 20 pounds since he's got here in January, and just working his butt off and everything. And again, just always here, always trying to learn, trying to just be the best player he can be. And I do think for our room, we talk about that the team and the offense will never be what we're not in our room. And what that means is, if we're selfish in our room and thinking I should do this or not, not being a true team player or cheering for, Rocco cheering for JJ if he makes a good play, and then vice versa. And then with Connor, and if the team doesn't feel us being all bought into the team, then the whole team won't do that. So we make a huge deal about that. And it helps having great kids. The guys are great, and they have not made, it's not been hard at all with that, but talking through that and just knowing and having them understand that, if we're tight in our room and cheering each other on and being the first one to run down, like JJ threw a long touchdown in spring, the first guy sprinting down to the field was Rocco, and the whole team sees that. And then the same thing, Connor throws one and JJ sprinting down. So things like that, where the whole team sees that. If we're tight and we're together like that, it's easy to handle it.
I want to peel back a little bit of a layer of the onion here too, because I don't know Moberly's that well, but I've heard of them. Like these quarterbacks all have really great parents too, in the sense of, I know JJ went to Iowa State games his whole life, and I believe Moberly did too, right? Like he grew up. Okay, so like in Rocco, we all know about his dad being a UFL head coach. So he's got like this like football bloodline going on there. JJ's got, but like, to me, I've sat and watched Iowa State football and chronicled it for 20 years. And to me, when the program's like hitting on its full stride, it's because like what you were talking about, where people want to be here. I always felt like Iowa State was better off taking a flyer on a kid from Southwest Iowa, like where we're from, who's a diehard Cyclone, then be like, well, that guy runs a better 40 from Florida, so we're just going to take him. Well, he doesn't have those ties, right? Now, you can't always build your roster out that way, but man, it helps to have some guys like that, and you got a room full of it.
Yeah, we were very fortunate that, that having the talent in the state of Iowa that we were so excited about and to be able to get them. JJ had a bunch of, schools that he could have went to. Connor kind of committed to us early, so I think that kind of got, otherwise I think he would have had more. But it takes having the talent in state, because there are a lot of good quarterbacks, a lot of good players in the state of Iowa, and then having them love us and love Iowa State, it helps so much. And because if you love Iowa State and you love to be here when it's not a great day, because you're not going to have great days all the time. And, JJ went through that, and, not playing last year, redshirting last year, and Rocco, that you fall back on, well, I love the people here, I love the place. That helps so much, because not everyone's going to be the story of going in and starting 4 years and, everything's going to be so awesome, that you're going to go through some tough times, and you got to love the place you're at.
Even that Brock Purdy guy had some tough times,
No doubt.
It wasn't all rainbows when he was here. I remember at the end, and this is how fans can be, but it was just like, there was like a little bit of like Purdy fatigue, and I'm sitting there going like, this is the best player in the history of this program. But like, he had some tough times there.
Yep. And we had a chance to win every single game with Brock.
Yep.
Like there wasn't a game you went in with Brock Purdy that you're like, man, I don't know if we're going to be able to. No, we had a chance every single game. And it's a situation where Brock's played so much football that is kind of, you could kind of feel it. I guess it's like, man, this guy's incredible though. This guy is.
What does that do for your room to have him not just be, here's a former Cyclone and he's starting the Super Bowl, but he's actually engaged with you guys? Like, what does that do for the future of I mean, because I look at it like a guy like Rocco Becht is going to have a chance because of what Brock Purdy has done. Is that accurate?
For sure. I for sure 100% that, being nowadays, it's not as important to be 6'4", 6'5".
Yep,
obviously it helps if you're that, but a guy like Brock that isn't the biggest, doesn't have the Josh Allen, Mahomes type arm, but you go in, play good football, win and compete, and then, truly understand the game of football, that you have a chance. That you have a chance, and you just got to keep working your tail off. But it gives our guys hope for sure. And, for me, it makes even, coaching the quarterbacks here even more special that you can come here, the system under Coach Campbell, the development, everything that you can go and accomplish some really special things no matter where you're at. But especially here, we think it's really, really special to play quarterback here, one, but then now to coach it. But and then having Brock was here the other day, talking with the guys, saying he texts Rocco, quite a bit throughout the season and off season, and having a guy like that there, and then, being able to pick little, things from him and knowledge from him. It's been incredible, guys, to give back. Obviously, Charlie Kolar's here a lot. Brees is back a lot and helps out in every facet that we need him to. So having those guys, all of our guys that kind of went to the next level, come back and then help, it means a lot that they care about this place a lot too.
Wow. It's awesome. I've told a lot of people this in the Campbell regime, but I've been an Iowa Stater a long time, and I'm a Vikings fan, but I never really cared about the NFL. I'm a college guy, right? So if the Purple weren't playing, I didn't really care that much. Now my Sundays are so freaking busy.
I know.
Right. I'm just as locked into the Jets as I am the Vikings.
I know,
it's crazy. The 49ers must see TV. Like my daughters and wife, they're abandoning the Vikings to watch the freaking 49ers all the time. It's
why are we watching the Vikings? Brock's on.
Yeah. They'd rather watch Brock. It's crazy.
I know. And I had a favorite team growing up, but now I just root for all these guys. And it's every time you turn on the TV, you got Allen playing, Brees playing, Brock playing, and Will, now Anthony Johnson, all these guys are just holy, and they're playing not just kind of getting by at the top level of the NFL too.
It's hard to keep up with. We used to do this thing called Cyclones in the NFL, and it was kind of a running joke. Tuber Rubin was the only guy for 4 years, and he'd get one tackle for the Browns. And now it's a great, in my opinion, of all the great things Matt and you guys have done, that's the legacy thing. And I know that sounds crazy because you've accomplished so much at Iowa State, but Iowa State had virtually no history of players in the NFL. I mean, there was a few, Sage and Seneca had their great careers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Mac put some guys in there, but it wasn't this consistent thing. And now there's this stream of them. And I truly think you got a handful of guys here in your quarterback room. I think all three of them have a shot to be pros someday. So we know Rocco as we've seen him. Could you run through for the fans just what JJ and Connor, do well, what you're excited about with them, and hopefully we don't have to see them too much this year. I don't want to say that in a bad way because that would mean somebody got hurt. But one thing we all learned last year is you just don't know. And we didn't expect Rocco and JJ to be having this quarterback competition in fall camp, and there they were. You never know what's going to happen. So if, let's say, Rocco gets hurt or something, what can fans expect with the other two guys?
Yeah, let's start with, JJ, since he's been here a little longer, JJ's extremely intelligent with our offense, knowledges of defenses. He spends a ton of time with that, so he knows the game of football and what's going on. And he's obviously a tall guy. He's one of our biggest guys, so he can see everything a little bit.
Looks like
different.
John Elway out there.
I get up to him sometimes, and he just seems like he keeps getting taller. But he can run. Yeah, he's super talented. He can make any throw that we want or need. He can make it. And he's what people probably don't think when they think of him is he can run too. He's athletic, and he put on a ton of great muscle, gotten bigger, faster, and since he's been here. But JJ will sell it out if he gets out there. And there were even games last year where he's trying to like hurdle people and do all this stuff. And but he's extremely intelligent, knows our offense, knows where to go with the football, and he can make it any throw you need. And then with Connor, that just coming right, and you can see obviously the arm talent jumps off, and that he again can make any throw. These guys are way more talented than I ever was, so that's a good part of it. But Connor's a gamer, and he won a lot of football games, obviously from the program he was in. There are times in spring where, rightfully so, didn't quite know everything going on because he just got here and made plays. And you can tell that he's been in big moments. He's played in big games, and he's a guy too that came in and understood the game of football, where it wasn't, oh my gosh, I don't know what a basic coverage is, or what we're trying to get out of a certain play. He's just having to learn the terminology, and just playing football, what it takes at our level to be a quarterback is really hard. But super talented guy, getting better every day. But two really, really talented players though.
Well, Jake, this was fun, and I've been a fan of yours ever since you were a junior, or whatever it was, when I first started calling your games. I can't believe we haven't like crossed paths more. But I'm a Hawkeye 10 Southwest Iowa guy. We got to represent.
Let's go.
We got to represent. But it's been a lot of fun to watch you kind of grow in this, and best of luck. Thank you so much for your time. Okay.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, and we'll have to not have that happen anymore. We'll have to get together a little bit outside here. And
you know what? This is funny too. I'm positive I have CDs of me calling one of your championship games. I'll have to dub.
we got to see it. We got to watch it.
I'm positive I do, because when I left there, it was like the big games that I had called, and I just, because like in my world, that's my tape, right? Like if I'm trying to get a job, I would send out clips of me doing play-by-play, and I am positive I have one of the St. Albert Falcons winning the championship.
That would be awesome to see.
Yeah,
you gotta find that. You gotta get it.
I'll rummage through I have like 2 boxes of all my like media stuff over there. I'm positive it's over there. So I will do that, and we'll have a good time and watch that sometime. All right, buddy?
No doubt.
Thanks for your time. It's Jake Waters, Iowa State quarterbacks coach. I know you guys will enjoy that. And we'll be back coming up next week with another interview with one of the Cyclone coaches.